Hello, gorgeous NFA Money Mamas. It's time for another episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. And if you could see my smile right now, which if you're on YouTube, you can, I'm smiling so big because this is a really exciting episode. I have a special guest on with the sexiest man on earth, my honey, my husband, my best friend. Oh, this is really exciting. So we're going to talk about manifesting love and money and the story of how we met and also how we decided to start working together to scale NFA money. And we would love feedback from you. So as you're listening to this episode, if you're getting something out of it and you're enjoying it, please take a screenshot of the episode and post it on social media. All you got to do is tag us at NFA Money. And Abe's on LinkedIn. He doesn't really hang out much on Instagram, but he's on LinkedIn and I'm on LinkedIn. And we would love to hear from you. We want to know what you're getting out of the podcast in general. And also if you're liking these episodes. So we're going to play and have so much fun today. And welcome, Abe. This is a really, well, actually, and I want to say it's hilarious because he's upstairs and I'm in my office because it's way easier to record an episode this way. So we're in the same house and they look very different rooms.
They're very different spaces.
Yeah. Hi, honey.
Well, hello there. Yeah, I did want to, a bit about what you said about just if it helps and to share that. Believe me, we could talk about how cool we are to each other all day long, all night long. What we really want to do here is to add some benefits to people. So, let us know how we can do that.
Yes, definitely. So a little backstory for everyone. Abe and I feel like we've been together for centuries in a good way, but we've only been together for a few years. So, I'll let you play with sharing the story of how we met.
Oh, for us. Wow.
Yeah.
We online dating. Gotta love it. In the age of COVID as well. So kind of navigating all of that. And I had been online dating for a while and having a miserable go of it. Amanda breezes on for a few days. I snatch her up and I don't know how she would tell it, but that, at least in my mind, is how it is. We live 90 miles apart. Not sure what is out there algorithm wise or how things work or put people together, but we think it was definitely, some divine intervention happened.
Law of attraction and manifesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those, mushy, insert your oohs and ahs here, but just from the first date and that first weekend we were together, that was it. We had planned a trip. We flew to a different state and did a, out-of-state trip within a week and a half. She added me on her buddy pass.
It was bold.
We were, NFA.
Exactly. NFA. Very much. I live my brand every single day. Like I'm very NFA about things. And, for me, because I always go about things through energetic alignment, I know very quickly if things are a yes or a no. And so one of the manifestations that I had been writing down was to travel a lot more. And so when I met Abe and we had this amazing dinner and we stayed up literally all night talking. And the next day when he dropped me off, I was like, oh my God, what if he doesn't call? I'm so into him. And within about an hour, I got home, I had a cup of tea. I messaged one of my friends and was all giddy with excitement. And then I thought, what if he doesn't call? I had that fear moment that we all have after something really good happens. And we're like, what if it doesn't last? And then I thought, no, I'm going to get centered and grounded. I meditated. And then he messaged me a love song. Like he said, this song popped into my head today. And I was like, yes. And then really the rest is history. Within that week, first 2 weeks of knowing each other, we went on a trip. And when you travel with someone, how you learn a ton about them and if you're a good fit or not, because it brings up so many things about a person when you travel. And so Abe just checked the boxes and has continually to this day. One of the interesting things we say about each other all the time is this was really early on in the beginning. I said to him, like, how do we make money doing what we love, which is be spending time together, right? Like, how do we spend time together and make money doing that? And I think that's such a cool part of manifestation, is that you don't know how that's going to unfold, but we asked that question with 100% sincerity and certainty that that was what we wanted. And it's been unfolding into something that's been so surprising. Wouldn't you say that?
No, absolutely. Not at all what we thought it might be. I remember thinking, Amanda's going to have, multi-million-dollar business and do her thing. And then will I hang around the house? Will I retire at some point? Will I be, have a sugar mama out there? How do we do this together? And that took a while to, just to come together.
So let's give a little backstory, because the people who are in my community and get regular emails from me know that Abe has left his C-suite job and has decided to join NFA Money full time, which this manifestation is really incredible, because this title of this episode is Manifesting Love and Money with the Sexiest Man on Earth, my hubby.
No pressure.
I was giggling so hard when I created that title. I'm like, is that okay with you? He's like, it's a lot of pressure.
Well, you said no self-deprecating remarks, so I'll leave the, no, George Clooney couldn't be here. So.
Yeah. Well, and I titled it, Abe would never have titled that himself. But, we really just love each other every day. Yeah. We have so much gratitude for each other, and we are continuously asking, like, how do we get to spend more time together? And so I want to just give that backstory of how this unfolds in a manifesting way, so that you can understand how to implement it in your life, whether it is for relationships or money or your business, attracting clients. Like, this is real life manifesting, and we want to keep bringing you episodes with each other as we move through this process of scaling NFA Money to 7 figures. And, I'm so excited to have Abe on board, because my zone of genius is being here with you, teaching, just training, learning, reading. My highest values are learning, teaching, loving, and traveling. And that loving part is my relationship with Abe, of course, my kids, my clients, my people, my NFA family. Like, I love people, and I love to teach and learn and travel and explore. And so it's like, ooh, how do we get to do all of those things at once? And this is what we've manifested. It's so cool. So Abe, I would love if you would share your backstory of how this transformation has happened, of you moving out of your C-suite position into being the master at NFA Money and showing up here with your zone of genius.
Yeah. Where to begin? It's, in the position that I most recently left, I had been there for about 1.5 years, and amazing company, amazing team. I cannot speak more highly of them or the company. For me personally, I was trying to make it fit. Whether trying to live someone else's values or another company's values rather than my own, but there was always a sense of misalignment, overwhelm, frustration, different things. And, fortunately, I have a excellent coach that lives at home. So she would, definitely a lot of help in conversations and, moving mountains together. But it was, ups and downs, not all down.
Yeah. Will you share like the moment of clarity for us when we planted the seed of idea?
Thank you. Yes. And I can absolutely rabbit hole a conversation and stretch things out. I need that direct. Shut up about that. Let's be more specific. We, together, I had always worked with new brands, new businesses, emerging brands in the franchising space. Part of that is creating kind of your roles, or we call them seats, in the business, just the different positions. When I first started, we wrote this VP position, and it was really mirrored my own personality style. We mirrored key accountabilities with DISC assessment, if anyone's familiar with that. Myers-Briggs, it's kind of in that realm, just measuring drives and personality. And it very closely mirrored my own. It's like, oh, perfect. This is great. Play to my strengths, play to my values. Awesome. As the year wore on, it became clear that it wasn't the case. And so when we kind of recast the seat, went through another DISC assessment, it ended up being very different. Anyone familiar with DISC, I'm very high S, very steady, with some I, like influencing people, kind of some extroverted nature to it. I am not a dominant, high D, like a personality. Someone on this webinar did. I think that's why we're very, suited together and work well together. So there was a mismatch right there. The company had hired a business coach. Awesome. I always looked forward to our time together. We had a sit down very recently after the job got reshuffled. And we went through and we reviewed, and that's when it was presented. And I got to see, the difference between my own DISC assessment, personality, values versus what this position was calling for. And it was very different. And nothing against anyone or anything. And that's truly, it was a huge aha moment of, this is where the discomfort is coming from. This is where the misalignment is coming from, and the missed values. It's right here. It's very clear.
Like black and white clarity.
Yeah. And so I came home and I was a little, had a dark cloud over my head, like, what does this mean? What's going on? But also excited, like it just made sense. Just,
it's liberation of recognizing something so clearly. You're like, oh, this is why I feel so uncomfortable. I think of it like when we're in a relationship that is misaligned, and then all of a sudden something happens that shows it to you so clearly. You're like, oh, I don't need to feel stuck anymore. And similarly, this could happen in a job or in your business when all of a sudden you just get this flash of clarity. It feels very liberating. And like I would say also simultaneously very scary.
Yeah, that's beautiful and terrible all at the same time.
Yeah.
So came home, we were exercising that night and we were together and, just talking through everything. It's like, all right, tell me what's on your mind. Let's talk through it. What's going on? And then you just pivoted the conversation beautifully, and asked, well, what would you want to create? What would you do? What are those things that you have done in the past that you really identified with and are missing? And as I started,
and that felt really good to you. That's important, right? Like, so anyone asking these questions of yourself, like, when you're looking for answers to understand when something's not a good fit, a good strategy or a helpful strategy is to look at things that have been a good fit so you can see a pattern across your life course and that gives you clues to your zone of genius.
Yeah. And as I, thought about it, like, wow, that's a great question, as I say a lot in our relationship. Went through the list, and I saw her really thinking real time, and she had kind of stopped and said, well, that's what I need in my business. And so, just these huge dueling light bulbs go off.
It was really amazing. So we have like a home gym, and I was on the treadmill and he was on the elliptical, and we literally both stopped the machines because it was this like, I want to say like a lightning bolt moment where you're like, holy shit, how did we never think of this before?
And in this way, we always wanted to do something together and work in some capacity, but we had never thought about it in that way. So,
and it's timing too, right? Like it was a timing thing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. We did talked about that and thought, in the next year, we could probably we don't do anything half-assed around here.
Nope. So this was on November first for, we keep a journal every day together, and it's fun because you get to track and see things. And we went back and we're like, this feels like it happened years ago, but it was like just a couple months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did that. And then kind of in the middle of all of that, had the book, which, you speak to that.
Yeah. So he's talking about it. In the month of November, I had decided I'm going to write the I Am a Money Magnet book. So if you go to IamAMoneyMagnetBook.com, you can get free chapters there and check out the book. It is killer. Like this book, it was a really powerful collaboration because I just got to write and pour out the whole book in a month, and Abe put it together and formatted it and made it like awesome. He was the editor. And so in this process, we had already planted the seed of maybe we could work together. And then the book happened and we were loving working together, and still we were having this background thought of like, maybe it's possible to work together, like Abe said, in the next year or something, And then we had so much fun on the book writing journey that we were like, oh my God, we could do this. We could do this. Yeah. Yeah,
we could. And really got through the end of the year and just amazing conversations, even looking at some planning and how it would look, and get into New Year's Eve weekend, ton of meditating, journaling, even tarot, if you're into that sort of thing. I had the most amazing tarot reading that I think one could possibly have. But out of all of that and just wonderful conversations, we decided right there, like, now is the time.
Yeah. Well, and I would say you decided that. I was very surprised actually, because like Abe says in that S way, the steady, Abe is way slower to take action than I am. And this is a good thing. Like sometimes I take action almost too quickly without thinking through everything because I'm just like a go, go, go. And that's, my nature. I'm just like, ooh, I have an idea. Let's do it right now. And, so when we planted that idea and started talking about it, I thought like, it'll probably take like at least 6 months for Abe to like feel good about this decision. And so when we did that tarot reading, we had so much fun. And, I always think like tarot just gives you guidance and clarity about what you're already thinking and feeling. And it's a reflection of that. And so when we did this reading for him about the new year coming up, it was like blasting him with like, the time is now. Get into alignment. And you're on the right track in terms of thinking about coming to work with me, and so that was a really cool moment. And I was shocked because that was New Year's Day. And then the next work day, which I believe was a Monday. So it was Saturday was New Year's Day.
Sunday, New Year's Day.
Or was it Sunday? Okay, Sunday.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Monday observed. Tuesday, he gave his notice. Yeah. And this was really funny because I was on the treadmill working out and he was on the call and he had told me, I think I'm going to do it today. And I had that thought, like, I will support him no matter what, either way. If he comes, and I really deep in my heart was like, oh, I hope he does. I hope he does. And I thought, and if he doesn't, it's got to be 100% aligned and feel good to him. And so he came downstairs and I'm on the treadmill and I stopped and I was like, what happened? And he's like, I couldn't do it. He did. And I was like, of course, internally, I was like, oh, bummer. But I also thought like, well, I said, okay, like what happened? And then he just started laughing. He's like, no, I did it. Yeah. It was quite amazing. And I jumped around and gave him a huge hug and lots of kisses. And it was, for me, it's been a really clear yes all of the way.
Yeah.
Like I 100% believe in us and our alignment and our magic that we create in the world. It's so exciting.
It really is. It is. Yeah. And back to the law of attraction, universal laws, you never know what's going to happen or even the timing of everything, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, would have not predicted any of this.
No. I want to say something here that I love that you said that because this is so important for everyone to know. So you all know, you've heard me say the manifestation formula many, many times, and I'll repeat it just to keep reinforcing it. So step number 1, you decide with clarity and certainty what you want. Step number 2, you take action in the direction. And step number 3, you let the universe show you the way. Now, this is amazing because for me, the way this worked goes all the way back to our dating profile.
Yeah.
So in Match, I wrote in my dating profile, like, I want an entrepreneur who can travel, and like, we get to like travel the world together and do really cool stuff. In my mind, nowhere in my mind did I have like, I want someone to come into my company and work with me. I just thought like they're an entrepreneur as well. And then when Abe and I met, I was open. This woman I was working with, who's an awesome love coach, she said, does it have to be an entrepreneur? What's the essences that you're looking for? And I said, well, really, I said, I want someone to be able to be free to travel. And so when I met Abe, he wasn't an entrepreneur, but he worked from home and was free to travel. And so I was like, oh, okay, that totally works. And yet every once in a while I had this thought like, crap, we're confined by his job because he isn't, as an entrepreneur, you really get to dictate your own time and where you are. And he didn't quite have that flexibility. And so, I look back to the planting of the seed there. I knew what I wanted with certainty. And I took steps in the direction, and now it's turned into this. And I'm like, whoa. So that manifestation started all the way a couple years ago. And I had no idea what that would look like. And another, really clear manifestation for me is to impact a minimum of 5 million people through NFA money. And in order to do that, I'm going to need help, right? So I have a very small team already, but I need like a powerhouse person who I trust, who knows the NFA brand, who believes in it 100%, and who comes on board and brings their zone of genius to help it scale. And this day when we were exercising and had this revelation, it was like, oh my God, like Abe is the perfect person for this. It was so cool to watch that manifestation happening real time.
Yeah, it was. Well, and then for me to see where I could fit in with that and be a part of it, not just, an employee, but also help you co-create what will come. It's very powerful.
Yeah. You do so many amazing things. Will you share a little bit about that? Like what do you bring into the table for NFA money?
Ooh, good question. It's like is this my job interview?
It is. I might fire you tomorrow.
Well, I haven't filled out a W-2 yet. My background is in emerging businesses, emerging franchising space. So, small, early stages. So, I help with organization and just getting things set up. Also, just in relationships and people. I have a lot of training, a lot of sales background, and just personally, and one of my highest values is relationships anyway, and helping people and just building and maintaining that. So very excited to be doing that. And as I am working on just for NFA, just future things. So, stay tuned to future opportunities that we have for in-person events. I will be looking at or growing the speaking end of things. So getting Amanda in front of crowds, whether that's corporate or conferences, keynotes, you name it, but also creating our own workshop experiences as well around money breakthroughs, which we're both very excited about.
Giddy with excitement. Okay, so everyone get ready because you are all going to need to come, or we're manifesting that every single one of you gets to come to an NFA Money Breakthroughs workshop. We're creating the first one is coming in April 15th and 16th in Colorado. It's going to be a live 2-day experience. I don't have links for it yet. We're in the process of creating everything, but in the next few weeks, you will have a link to the event, and the first one's limited to 20 people. So we're so freaking excited about this. I want to share with everyone here something that's been really interesting for me is that I had the vision of doing workshops day one of my business. Yeah. And it's not in my zone of genius to do all that work to get it set up like that. It stresses me out. It doesn't feel good to me. And so I haven't done it. And so when Abe and I started talking about all the possibilities and he's like, I totally could do that. That sounds fun. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Crying tears of joy because I can't wait. If you every single day put an audience in front of me to teach how to master themselves, love themselves more, step into their zone of genius, use universal laws to attract easier money and feel really good in life, bring it on every day I'm there. And so it's like Abe and I coupled together get to create that and impact the world in huge ways. And so it's really exciting for me to think about people coming to the workshops, and Abe and I get to use our dynamic, magnetic, attractive qualities together to create a space that feels really amazing and transformative for all the people that get to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the complementary skill sets as well that we bring in. Definitely more cautious, as you said, I guess, slower to move. But that brings with it just that strategic planning background with it, and really taking care of the details. Like I want Amanda in her zone of genius, high level, big ideas, visionary, out there, just 30,000 feet above the ground, just cruising, and letting me handle really everything else. And that's something that I value and that I'm excited about. The operations, the sales side of things that I'm really looking forward to. So, and
heaven.
The product on the planet. So.
Yeah, thank you. That is a high compliment. We've had a lot of jokes around this. We were hanging out the other day, having a drink and just relaxing under the stars. And I said, our 2 words for each other, when we combine in this way, he's calm and I'm inspiration. It's that combination of calm inspiration that we bring to the table that takes details. And then, the expansion of what I get to do because he's taking care of those things is like, so heavenly. So heavenly. So we're really looking forward to all these things. And of course, as you keep sticking around with us, you will hear what's to come and stay connected. Definitely, if you aren't in the NFA community yet, and I could also say the Women Entrepreneur Podcast community, there are a few ways to connect. One would be to download the free chapters. That'll opt you into our system where we send out regular emails, and you'll get free chapters of the book. So go to I'mAMoneyMagnetBook.com. That's a really easy way to do it. So I'mAMoneyMagnetBook.com. And then another way is if you are wanting to come on the show, you just need to go to thewomenontrepreneurpodcast.com, thewomenontrepreneurpodcast.com. And at the top of the page, you'll see 2 buttons. One is for Biz Breakdown Session, and the other one is for the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast Party. I'm going to start doing these much more regularly. Right now, I'm just gaining traction, building momentum, making sure it's something that all of you want. The first party, I sent out an email, and I think there are only 2 spots left, maybe 3 for the very first one. And then the second one is 6 weeks later. And then once they start filling up, I'll start doing them every month. And so, Abe and my thing and NFA Money and the Woman Entrepreneur is all about bringing you what you are looking for. So, we're always value driven. And so, if these things fill up and we need to create more of them, that's what we'll do. And so we need your feedback by engaging. And so, I would love to hear what you have to say just as a goodbye to everyone in terms of sharing what they'd like from us in the future as an NFA team.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's something that I said early on. You and I can go on for hours about how much we love each other, how cool we are, and absolutely love it. That's us. We can do that at any time. We don't need a podcast or YouTube platform in which to do that. This is all about you. And what we want to do is to bring value to you. So what is it about our story, about this working partnership, any insights that we might have, anything that might be helpful to you, please let us know. We would love to hear it.
Yeah. Yes. And that is coming from sincere depth of our hearts. Yeah. We talk about this stuff every day. We love each other so much. We love, I think I already love all of you. Abe's going to grow to love all of you because he's just going to be getting to know all of you.
I don't know you yet. That's
exactly. And I know that you will all fall in love with Abe too. And he's just just as a human, without him being my partner and my husband, he is an incredible human. His presence is so calming and grounding and kind. And he's also witty and smart. And, you know, of course, I think the sexiest man on the planet. And so it's like, he just brings so many gifts to the table. And so it's like, I just want to give him like the warmest welcome to NFA Money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you all know that I care a lot about my business. It's my baby. So to bring him in says a lot about him and our relationship. And so, you know, it's like, I want everyone to get to know him as well. And so let's just wrap up for today. I've gone a little longer on my solo cast than I usually do. I guess it's not really a solo cast today. So I just want to recap for everyone. Remember, when you're manifesting, that it's really important to let go of you having to know the way of fulfilling the things that you've decided that you want, right? So when I said you've got to decide with certainty and clarity what you want, get convicted, like in your being, know what you want, know it's possible, and then take steps in the direction and trust the universe to show you the way. Because I promise you, it will be even better than you thought. I could have never planned for Abe. I could have never planned for Abe in general, actually, because our criteria on match should not have had us meeting each other. Like, we live 90 miles apart, or lived at the time, right? It doesn't even make sense that we met. It's very, to me, divine stuff going on, you know, or just let's say God, grand organized design stuff, like cosmic order. We were supposed to meet because I am dedicated and committed to having a partnership of deep love, where it's our foundation of expanding to our fullest potential. And so Abe is a part of that. And then also, I'm dedicated and committed to growing NFA to impacting 5 million plus people. I could have never written Abe into that plan in the beginning when I made that declaration, right? And so all of you, like, just decide what you want with certainty and clarity, take steps in the direction, and trust that the universe is going to bring it to you in the highest good of all, in ways that you could never plan. So detach from your thinking that you have to know the way. That's really important. Like, especially as type A go-getters, as I know most of you are, let go of you having to know all the answers. You're actually making yourself take longer to have it be manifested because you're trying to hyper control. So let go of that control and then watch the beautiful things that get to happen. And you know that I'm always here for you to teach you how to continue to do that. That's what I love to do. So just wanted to recap that for everyone. And thank you, Abe.
The perfect recap and the perfect lesson from this.
Yeah.
Never know how it will happen, but it will happen.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you on again, Abe, many, many times.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. And I get to turn the camera off and get to go kiss my hubby and say thank you. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm sending you a ton of love. And welcome to Abe. And, you know, I can't wait for you all to get to connect with him at some point. And until next time, I'm sending you big hugs and NFA money making high fives. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to break through to the next income level in your business, go to www.thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com to get more money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling resources. Again, that's www.thewomanentrepreneurpodcast.com. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.